the influx of LGBTQ rappers and artists that are coming out in the recent past, whether it's this year, the last few years, and what that actually means for people, and are people really able to accept that wave of people in that community really in our culture? Because I'll put it very bluntly, one thing that I have noticed is the people that have come out, and historically, and I mean this in the last few years, right? You have your Frank Oceans, right? It was a big controversy when he basically said, "I like guys." I can't remember exactly how he rolled that out. I don't know if it was the first time it was in that song Forrest Gump, or if he actually said it out of his own mouth. But when we heard that that was the case, we had already fallen in love with Frank Ocean's music, right? We were bought into him as an artist. We were bought into his music. Same thing with Tyler, the Creator. And by the way, I'm not saying everybody's a huge Frank Ocean fan. I'm not saying everybody's a huge Tyler, the Creator fan. Matter of fact, everybody we're going to name, I'm not even saying everybody's a huge fan of them. The point is, they have enough of a base to have a flourishing career. Tyler, the Creator is another one, right? Flower Boy, he gave people a lot of confusing messages, you know, about his sexuality. He goes on Funk Flex and flirts with Funk Flex and raps about a lot of things that would cause people to really say, "Yo, is Frank Ocean gay? Like, what the hell? Like, he sounds gay." Like he now that I look back, like it caused people to be like, "Yo, oh, now that I look back on Flower Boy, he said a lot of suspect things. Oh, maybe he is gay." It causes the stare in the conversation. I noticed that, but again, with him, out of that same Odd Future camp from back in the day. Another guy who people were already bought in on, Tyler, the Creator, as an artist. He already had enough of a following before he started even dabbling and throwing that out there that he could potentially be gay. Same thing with Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, granted, he was a newer artist, but he had already had a hit #1 single on the Billboard charts for God knows how long. And people already bought into him. So they were able to, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, I feel like people were able to more easily digest them coming out and really giving their own truth at the platform and on the platforms that they have to really say, "This is who I am." I think not everyone is really fortunate enough to have those experiences as an artist, you know, as somebody, as a part of the LGBTQ community, and we've seen a bunch. There's a lot of new artists, but I really want to have that conversation with you, Q, and really with the people, because do you feel like our culture, the hip hop culture, the Black culture, whatever culture we're talking about, is ready to openly accept artists out the gate, whether they have a hit single or not, into music if they are part of the LGBTQ community, man? What do you feel about that?
That is a $1 million question, $1 million question, which, you know, somebody that we kind of forgot on the list somewhat is Kehlani. Kehlani promotes herself as somebody that's bisexual, and she actually talks about being with women in her music quite a bit. But yeah, that's a $1 million question. I don't think we're ready for it personally. But just going back to what I said earlier, like, I pray that one day it would just be this: Frank Ocean is just a singer. Tyler, the Creator, is just a rapper. Sid, who's another person that's kind of like an Odd Future affiliate, who's also gay, that she's just a singer. At this point, you know, if I was census or somebody that takes polls, I want to ask people, what makes you uncomfortable about a gay musician? or a lesbian musician, bisexual, whatever you want to call it, whatever label we're referring to. Is it the content? Is it you just can't back that person in terms of you don't like them as a person because of what you stand for? Because to me, I think for people, the issue they can't get past is possibly hearing content that is not what they stand for personally. And unfortunately, that's a lot of times for these artists, that's their truth. Frank Ocean is telling his truth. There's like 2 or 3 songs on Frank Ocean's album that was so powerful, that where Forrest Gump is one of them. And then the other one, which by the way, that Frank Ocean album is before he announced he was gay. That was a fantastic album to me. I thought the album was great. After he announced that he was gay, that was a fantastic album to me. I thought the album was great. If anything, I thought after he announced he was gay, I thought the album was better. Like I thought the album was even tighter to me because it was a lot more fearless, a lot more courageous in what he was able to do. But I wonder, because I can't answer that $1 million question. My pay grade is not good enough. I wonder if it's the content that makes people uncomfortable. Like possibly listening to Sid's song and hearing that she's talking about a girl, or possibly hearing a Frank Ocean song and he's talking about laying up with a guy. Like, does that scare people that are straight? Does that scare people that don't necessarily agree with the lifestyle of somebody that prefers the same sex as them? It's a question I'm very curious to know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And we had an interesting conversation with an up and coming rapper named Chili as Fuck, which you guys are gonna hear that interview at some point whenever we put it out. But we talked to her about the nuances of being a songwriter, and how are you intent to make music where you're speaking from a certain perspective, whether because you're a woman, are you speaking from a woman's perspective? If you're a guy, should you speak from a guy's perspective? Or if you're either or, should you just speak very universally so that you can relate to a lot of people? I think that yes, the content is part of it. It's part of it. However, I think there's a bigger issue, and I feel like it's not just the content. I think it's more so the imagery. It's the I think people are not comfortable with identifying or even having people as a part of the LGBTQ community at the forefront, because it intimidates people who are uncomfortable with artists that are in that community. Like, it's intimidating because there's a hell of a lot of people who are not comfortable still to this day, right? We've seen every industry of people coming out, like, look at the guy in the NFL. What's his name? Michael Sam. Remember that guy? Remember Michael Sam, who got drafted in the NFL, who was originally supposed to be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. He came out as gay before the draft. He got drafted in the 7th round, right? And then he played in the NFL for maybe a year. There is no doubt to me that there is an agenda to marginalize and to not allow that community to be a part of the conversation, right? And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, again, we bring up people like Tyler, the Creator, bringing up people like Frank Ocean. And it's to me, like you said, if we're judging the music, which to me should be at the forefront of the conversation, there's no reason for you or anybody else who has a problem with somebody who is part of the LGBTQ community to tell me that the music is any less quality than what the hell I'm hearing. You feel me?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I want to talk about something. It was actually me and my wife, we talked about it. a couple of days ago. It actually makes me laugh. It's actually kind of funny if you think about it. She was like, because she's an epidemiologist, and she was talking about how surveys and things like that are very important. And you know, in surveys, they ask you what your color you are, your height, whatever. Why is it that we are so infatuated in America with finding out if somebody's gay? Like, you don't go up to somebody and say, "Oh, I'm a straight man." Do you go up to a woman and say, "I'm a straight man"? Like, do we have to like fill out straight when we fill out paperwork? Like, why? What does gay mean, right? Or gay means you like the opposite sex. Is that what all life is about? Is life only about what type of person you like? There's so much more about life. Like, at the end of the day, an NFL player, we don't care what you decide to do outside of the NFL. Like, why does whoever you decide to like, what does that have to do with the music, your talent? What does that have to do with you as an artist, as a sports person? It's so funny. It's like, it's almost like all these people that are homophobic assume that once you find out somebody's gay, they're going to make a move on you. Like, as if they're super horny people that every single second they just looking at you weird, or they're attracted to you every single second. Like, that's life. Like 99% of the time, I'm thinking about what I want to do to somebody. That's not life. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, somebody shouldn't, and I feel for gay people, somebody shouldn't have to tell people they're gay all the time. Somebody shouldn't have to always tell somebody they're gay. Why do I have to know who you go after?
I'll take it a step further. When you say they shouldn't have to always, they should never have to disclose their sexual preference. It doesn't matter. Like, it should not. That again, but see, if you think about it, that's going to the bigger point of there is this notion that you are lesser than. I don't agree with that, because to me, it has nothing to do with anything, right? We talk about music right on this show all the time. I give you another example. You don't watch the show, but Power, right? Power is back on. They got Power Book 2, the story of Ghost. And there's a character in there who looks just like Zion Williamson, by the way. Y'all know, if you watch Power, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. He's dating, on the low, he's dating one of Mary J. Blige's sons, who is also secretly gay. So they got this secret relationship going on that only the family knows about. But the dude that looks like Zion, who plays on the basketball team, no one knows that he's gay. And the dude, his lover, is basically getting on him, telling him, "Yo, why don't you just let everybody know you're gay?" And the dude is like, "No, because my NBA hopes would be destroyed. Like, I'm trying to get to the NBA, and if I let this shit out now, my career, my aspirations are completely shattered." And that's a fucked up place to be in, man. That's a fucked up situation and dilemma that we have to put people in just because their sexual orientation. So tying this back to the music, it sucks that people a part of that community have to even have that at their mind. Like, damn, you know, like if I let people know this, it might fuck up my career trajectory, you know. So let me hold that in. Let me not walk around proudly with the person that I really want to be with. It sucks that we've done that, but I don't know what we can change. It just takes people more open-minded. You know, it takes people like Pete Buttigieg, the guy who ran for president, right? It takes more people like him to really have the courage to come out here and let people know, yo, like, you can run for president if you're gay. Who gives a fuck, right? And to me, I would have no fucking problem with it, because once again, and I'll keep saying this till the cows come home. I don't know who even came up with that damn phrasing, but whatever. Everybody know what the hell that means. Your sexual preference should not dictate the artistry that you are putting out. It, in fact, has nothing to do with it except tell your story, which does not dictate your singing ability. It doesn't dictate the way you're able to rap. It doesn't dictate your production skills. Like, what if we found out that one of your favorite producers was gay? Does that change the feeling that the song gave you when it came on? It shouldn't, right? Well, for some ignorant people, it will. And that's the problem with people. They tie these things that have nothing to do with creativity to sexual preference, and they're just completely unrelated, man. And it's unfortunate. It really is.
It's weird because it's
Super
you
weird.
know, we're so quick to embrace music like, that talk about guns, but then we're like, I don't got guns, I don't own guns, I don't shoot people. We're quick to embrace music about drugs, but then when you find out somebody's gay and that their possible love song that they made is about somebody that is the same sex as them, it's the worst thing ever. I cannot. Oh my God, this is crazy. It's like, to me, it's just kind of it's funny. I think it's funny, and unfortunately, I don't see it changing anytime soon. I see progression in the way people think, but I don't see it changing anytime soon. I will say this: let's not be naive though. It does change things knowing that the artist is gay. Like, for instance, when I listen to a Sam Smith song, what changes to me is I like to put images to, sometimes some nice songs. Like, obviously, I try not to put images to like violent music, but like to nice songs. And when they talk about like, love and stuff like that, now you vision, okay, like two dudes or a girl. And so I view Sam Smith's music differently, Frank Ocean music differently, but it's not like crazy, like, to me, it's not like I'm not going to listen to the music.